Be banned out here against Maxwell is exactly what you predicted. Jan is going to get banned out against Rafa. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if we see the Jinx ban, because we know Rift are going to pick it first if they get it, but I also would not be shocked if Choke decide to keep that Jinx open and then build a team comp around countering it.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends whether, they think they can deal with the Jinx on Nizar, or whether they think that they won't pick it first, so why ban it out? Rumble going to be banned out here against Numlock, so that's an interesting ban coming out.
They're surprised when he had Gnar in the last game, did a great job on it, and now you're banning out a Rumble against him, which he does play and plays well, but...
Keys plays a really good Gnar.
That's true.
So if Jinx gets banned, the first pick could be Gnar for Keys here, so that would be what would make sense in my mind. That if Jinx is not banned here, then what do Rift Gaming do?
Well, if you pick the Jinx, you leave Gnar open for Numlocked, and that gives him the ability to get onto the back line.
Vladimir here, so they have to
Jinx and Gnar are up.
They have to make the decision, because I believe if Gnar gets picked up here by Keys, then I'm sure Choke will pick up Jinx.
Chudok plays a great Jinx.
Yeah,
like we've seen it a couple of times when he just plays it. It's actually the Xerath from Imberlight. He used to play that a lot. I haven't seen him play it that much recently, but a strong mid laner.
That opens up a lot for Choke Gaming
You could go Gnar Jinx.
You could go Gnar Jinx here very easily. It depends whether they want to give away that much of their lineup, though, because obviously if they pick these two, then it's quite easy to lock it down. But Jinx is definitely getting picked up here. So Jinx picked or banned 100% here against the Rift Gaming lineup, and Hecarim are potentially on the cards for Keys. So even though Gnar is available, not going to go for it.
Rift actually banned out Hecarim in the last game. That was their final ban.
Yes.
So this time, if they decide to lock that in, Hecarim has been moved more towards a jungler because he's got increased damage to minions, to monsters as opposed to minions on his Q, and they buffed the mana cost on that as well. Nerfed the mana cost, a little bit more.
Yeah.
That was 5.9 that change was made.
Yes, that's true. So he has more of a jungle presence for sure. Because we're on 5.8, it's unlikely.
Is this 5.8?
This is 5.8,
okay.
I believe, yeah.
So that change hasn't been made.
That change hasn't been made yet. And even on the 5.9 patch, wow, it's going to be Twitch for Nizar here.
Really?
Twitch. I mean, Twitch is definitely...
He plays a good Twitch, but it's a really interesting pick into a Morgana Jinx lane.
Yeah, but we have seen that Nizar loves those later game champions. He's very good mechanically and positionally. Twitch relies on a lot of good positioning, especially with the use of your invisibility. So. And
you've got good range advantage along with the Xerath. When you get into those mid-game teamfights, Xerath and Twitch standing at the back line is great, along with the Solar Flare. But Maxlaw on Morgana against the Leona, like, the Leona should get locked out of that lane pretty successfully by that Black Shield.
Again, it's all about juking that Black Shield. Sometimes you can use it on the wrong target. Sometimes you can sort of fake out. Sometimes you can jump to one target and stun the other. So there's a lot of counterplay to be made with the Leona. But like you said, there is the potential to just burn through that Black Shield and get the engage on, or the potential that the Black Shield will just save whoever they want to. Rengar for Maxlaw. This is Throwback Thursday right now, because that is one of his better champions from last year. We saw it almost banned out against him all the time. And Teemo potentially for Keys.
It's a pick.
It is a pick.
They've got all the champions.
They've got all the champions. That's actually
They
Teemo.
just locked in Teemo. Is that what?
And Fiddlesticks. This is basically these guys going back to comfort champions. They're saying, okay, play what we know best. And this kind of throws a little bit of a kink in the workup for the Choke Gaming lineup, because Teemo does pretty much well against every low range and melee based top laner. He does struggle against hard engage, which Gnar does have.
But he doesn't have it in his mini-Gnar form,
yes,
which
so
is where Keys will be putting down most of the damage.
So Keys will be putting down the damage in the mini-Gnar form and hoping to harass Numlocked out of lane. It's going to be mid-lane Cho'Gath as well. So it's a really strong lineup coming up from Choke, a very sort of classic, good peel, good engage, good AoE control as well. So it does a lot for their lineup, but this is some crazy stuff coming out from
Rift is so strong.
It's a snowball team.
Solar Flare, the Fiddlesticks ult coming in as well, Rise of the Arcane from Xerath, like, that is a lot of damage.
If Rift get behind, they are utterly boned.
Yeah, they're screwed.
They're
nothing
utterly
they can
boned
do.
if Rift get behind.
Especially with Alchemist on that Cho'Gath. If Alchemist gets ahead, he's just going to walk up to Nizar and say, oh, I'd quite like a tasty morsel of rat tonight, and just nom him down.
Yeah, I mean, this is risky play from Rift, but if it pays off miles, because they need to win this game to stay in the finals.
The question is, though, if it pays off in this game, do you cheese the final game as well? That's the big question.
Well, I mean, it depends if Choke can react and win this game, or Choke, or how badly it does, or how well it does against Choke rather, and whether Choke can react in the next game. We'll have to see how well it does. I don't know how many cheese strategies that the Rift lineup have got in their back pocket, but I'm really looking forward to this game.
This is a classic cheese, though. This is a cheddar. This isn't sort of like a Gouda or a Swiss cheese, something that's a little bit more outlandish.
What would you consider a Gouda?
A Gouda is more like the Jarvan Leona bot lane. Something a little bit more spicy. Maybe a red Leicester with a bit of, cranberry
like a
or
meta
something.
breaking cheese.
A Wensleydale would be like a Season 2 comp.
So you mean like a meta breaking cheese?
Yeah.
As in like... But no, we have a very standard, I guess standard if you're looking at solo queue lane setups.
Well, for Rift, because this is their team. Like, these are the champions they're comfortable on.
Yeah.
So this is a cheddar. That's why it's a standard cheese, a calm
I mean, I love this analysis of cheese.
Hey, I try.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't do League of Legends, but I can do cheese.
So if we were going to go for a Gouda, would you see Rift Keys playing something like, I don't know, Poppy?
They'd lane swap. Keys would go mid.
Poppy,
Poppy,
yeah.
and then you'd have Heimerdinger jungle.
Yeah, that sounds like a Gouda. That sounds like a Gouda, in my opinion.
It looks like Rift are trying to put a bit of early pressure down here, but not going to get anything. They get a wall across the wall, but
good
Zodiac
defensive
nice
line by Choke.
Yeah,
good
that's what we tend to see out of Choke. They don't like going for those early invades. Maxlor on the Rengar take a little bit of time to build up his damage. And do you think we're going to see Maxlor go for the more tanky Rengar build, or are we going to see him going for the solo queue build that you see quite a lot in higher elos at the moment, which is full-on aggression?
It really depends on how he does, but you've got to remember that there's some pretty tanky guys on their team already in the form of Cho'Gath and Numlock. Now, obviously, Cho'Gath is really likely going to be just flat health tank, but he's still pretty difficult to get through in the mid stages of the game when he's still just got a whole massive lead in health because of that feast. And obviously Numlock is going to have a massive load of health under resistances, especially if he goes a more tanky build this game. He may not actually go full... Yeah, he may not actually go full DPS like we saw last game, because he'd probably be more likely to die to Teemo to a Lulu, because Teemo has the potential to split push if he gets ahead quite well against him. And obviously if Maxlor's doing well, Maxlor's going to want to go a more aggressive build, and if he goes that aggressive build, then he can snowball from there. But this is a big invade coming down to the Fiddlesticks. They have got the ward, they can see it, and they're going to go for this.
I call this how to tilt a Teemo. What you do is you lane swap into him, you stop that early jungler as well, and chewed up, tanking up those minions so they focus down the first minion of his own wave, meaning that the lane will slowly push against Keys here. So chewed up is going to be very safe farming this up. Keys is going to get no experience whatsoever. Going to get pushed behind very, very quickly because Maxlor and Numlock just stealing the enemy blow.
I mean, this is good for the Jinx as well, because it puts her in a situation where she's safe away from the Leona. She can get farmed by herself, but she won't be able to solo lane against the Teemo and deny him. So obviously, as an AD carry, you want to be able to get solo experience in a lane spush. Sometimes you let your support wander and do a lot of damage across the map, or do as much as it can across the map.
Are they going to 4-man dive him?
Potentially, because Teemo is very
level 2.
Yeah, Teemo's very easy to dive, but they aren't pushing the lane up here, so they're not aggressively pushing the lane, so I doubt that they're going to go for the dive.
They could be waiting for the next wave, because if they now clear out these 3 minions, they'll have an 8-minion wave to go for the tower dive, so it'll give them a little bit more strength.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be waiting a little bit here, so they're giving up a lot of time to dive Keys here. And I think Keys must know because of how much they changed their behavior. He's sticking around, though.
He's just going to
go invisible.
He's just going to go invisible under tower, get the XP. This is classic Teemo play right here.
This is brilliant Teemo play by Keys.
Genius.
They don't exactly know
they
who he is.
missed the binding,
exactly.
So they just all have to walk away. That is superb play by Keys. They don't think he's there, or they think he's there, but they don't really care. He hits level 3 as well, and now he goes in, tries to get some damage down. He's not going to be able to push them off the tower, though, but they will have one more minion wave here to try and get some damage onto that tower. Chewed up, of course, on the Jinx. Very good at pushing towers.
That was brilliant. And a nice read of the lane behavior by Keys there. He saw that Chewed Up was freezing the wave, letting it push towards him, immediately changed his behavior to push the wave aggressively towards the turret. He knew something was up. He knew something was coming, and he managed to just juke it out with some sneaky Teemo tactics. But like we said, he's going to have to sit in a 2v1 lane, because Chewed Up can't now solo lane against Keys, because Keys will just get back into the game very easily. He'll be able to farm up because he's a ranged champion. He does quite well against AD carries with that blind. So it's kind of constricting where Zodiac can go, unless they manage to push this wave back towards turret and freeze it out again.
And the early dragon taken there by Rift as well gives them a little bit of an advantage. Of course, the thing about taking an early dragon is it doesn't give you base stats right then and there. You get the extra AD and AP scaling up through the game, and it gives you the timer on the dragon, which is really important as well, because it means you can try and deny that succession of dragons from the enemy team. Maxwell's going to try and get a gank onto Imberlight, who does flash away from that rupture coming out from Alchemist, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see Maxwell just staying around, seeing if Imberlight pushes out again, starting to back away, but he'll be coming back to the mid lane for a gank pretty soon. Yeah,
Nard does very well in a 2v1 situation as well. He doesn't know that Rafa's coming from the back, but he's only level 2, so there's not too much to be worried about.
He does have the stun combo though. There's the Zenith Blade, the Shield of Daybreak as well. Nizar's going to try and chase. He's tanking up quite a lot of minions though. He'll go quite low. The Ignite goes down onto Numlock, who will jump away. Now he's going to go into Mini-Gnar form and will be able to get away. Rafa tanks up 2 tower shots, but he won't be able to get the kill there, and it's all square in this early game. A little bit of a gold advantage for Choke, which is what we tend to see, the CS lead going across towards Numlock.
Nice freeze coming out here from Chewed Up into this top lane, but no support here from Zodiac. So Teemo may have the potential to just force his way back in and get some experience. It's going to be a little bit difficult though, because Chewed Up's had a lot of time to farm. He's getting a bit of experience in behind his belt, and obviously Keys has got to be very...
Rafa needs to be careful. He's going to get jumped on here. The bowler is enough, and Rafa tries to Zenith Blade away. Will get the stun, but he's going to go down. First blood to Numlocked, and all you need is a little bit more advantage for that. Numlocked already ahead in CS, now gets a kill. And they're going to rotate up towards the mid lane as well. Decide against it. It's going to look for the tower dive here onto Nizar.
So now Keys knows that Zodiac's in the bot lane. He can very easily walk up to the lane and begin to farm again, which makes it so much easier in this 1v1 situation. And oh wow, Dandy Chap going for a dive onto Chewed Up.
Trying to dive Chewed Up, but Keys doesn't have the damage, I don't think. Even with the poison ticking, he's not going to have enough. Nizar's backed away from the bottom lane tower, and it looks like Choke are going to try and take their first tower of the game. Of course, got some damage onto that top lane earlier. I don't think they'll be able to take this one down with Nizar so close, even with Numlock about to go mega, just because the minion wave is not there for them for long enough. And Chewed Up, they don't have the damage.
I think they should be able to take it.
They've got one more minion wave coming, but Rafa's decided to join the fray again. Still only level 2 on that Leona. Hits level 3 from that.
They're not going to commit, actually. Yeah. Well, once Rafa showed they weren't going to commit, but I think if they spent less time killing minions, they may have actually been able to take the tower down. And Maxwell on one of his best champions in the game right now, and you can already see him having a great game, managed to get that early assist in the bag. Going to go and try and make something happen in mid lane. Obviously, Imberlight has burnt his flash already. Imberlight very wary at this point in time.
Maxwell needs to be careful, because there's a Dandy Chap, there's a Rafa, there's a Leona, and there's a stun coming out. He tries to flash away, but he won't get away for long, and Imberlight will help Dandy Chap pick up the first kill here for Rift. Rafa has not actually been in a lane for more than about 5 seconds this game.
Yeah, he's been roaming across the map, and Zodiac is now helping out Numlock, leaving Chewed Up to 1v1. But again, this is not denying Teemo at this point in time. Not sure how much you want to be denying a Teemo, but it's very hard now for Chewed Up to solo lane against Teemo, because Teemo does well against those people that kind of rely.
Oh, Rafa goes on to Alchemist in the mid lane. Teemo does do well against. Sorry, I keep interrupting you because there's action happening all the time.
That's absolutely okay.
I like the sound of your voice. So
I'm used to it because you're just so on point with the action, Sona.
Wax really on lyrical, Alexandra. Tell us what you were going to say.
Teemo's really good against auto attack champions.
Yes, very strong against auto attack champions. He's still a little bit behind on CS over Numlock though. And if Chewed Up can keep himself scaling, look at the CS disadvantage of Nizar as well over Chewed Up. Chewed Up has had a lot more efficacy in this 1v1 lane, really.
Yeah, just because it's been difficult for Nizar to deal with basically the 3v1 lane that was happening for quite a while, and Chewed Up's had the potential to solo lane. Because Keys was a little bit behind, he's a little bit scared about going all out aggressive onto Chewed Up. So Chewed Up is still farming fine under this turret. He's going to go back here because they know that Dragon will be happening in the next minute and a half. They're probably going to rotate their bot lane down so that they make sure they have the presence there to deal with the Dragon.
Yeah, still trying to see what they can do. Rift close in this game, but the little CS disadvantages are pushing them about 1,000 gold behind. And they will need to try and scale up into this late game. But the late game from Choked is very, very strong as well. Jinx and Gnar really strong in that later portion. And then Alchemist as well on that Cho'Gath will be feasting minions, feasting champions as much as he can. Imberlight doing a good job though on this Xerath, keeping Alchemist back towards his tower. But he won't mind that. Farming on a Cho'Gath is not a bad thing at all.
What's really great about Cho'Gath is he can perform several roles in a team fight. He can peel very easily, he can burst through frontline tanks very easily. Not that there are any frontline tanks for Rift, but he can also then be aggressive with that feast too. But he can perform so many roles that it's very versatile what he can achieve in these team fights. And I imagine a lot of it will be peeling for Chewed Up against this heavy sort of die, but
Imbolite. Be careful, the Rupture comes out, but here's Rapper from the side, and Zodiac taking very low. He'll tank up one tower shot. Dandy Chap in with the ultimate. They're going to try and turn onto Alchemist. Keys is here as well. Niza is joining the fray. They're going to turn onto Chewed Up, who will get slowed by that red buff. Has to flash away. But it's 5v3 basically, and they only pick up a 1-for-1 trade. Zodiac for Imbolite.
But the Dragon is on the cards right now, and I know that the Dandy Chap can just heal up very easily from this. There isn't potentially going to be a reaction. They're going to give away this second Dragon just because Chewed Up is so low. They've used a lot of ultimates. And, Nizar, Chewed Up.
Yeah, going to go on to Chewed Up, and here's the Zenith Blade as well. That is a very dead Jinx. Oh, Raph actually picking up the kill. Something we've seen a couple of times from this Rift lineup is they're accidentally picking up kills when it would be better on the other champion who's there. That was a free kill. Jinx was going down. Raph didn't need to pick that one.
That was the shield, the...
Is it Eclipse?
It was Eclipse, yeah, so the Eclipse proc managed to pick up the kill there. Probably not the...
blocked out Nizar's view of the kill.
Yeah, basically not ideal for Rift at this point in time. Nizar has been struggling for kills quite a lot. They're going to teleport in here. I don't know whether they'll get the Dragon. No, they won't.
Tries to steal it. Dandy Chap does pick up the Dragon, but he's out of mana. Nizar is going to pop that ambush and try and get away. Imbolite is here as well. Maxwell and Numlock in the Dragon pin. Zodiac can take one low. There's the right of the Arcane, but Numlock nars him into the wall along with Keys. Keys does pick up the kill with that burning poison. Nizar's going to try and get Numlock down. There is the boulder toss, and Numlock flashes onto Nizar, but Nizar might be able to kite this one out with the Hex Drinker. It's not enough, and Nizar picks up the kill with that red buff proccing. And Alchemist tried to join the fray, but wasn't able to do anything. And the turnaround here for Rift, they're now 6-4 up. They're still behind in gold, though.
Yeah, this is some really risky play coming out from the Choke lineup, guys. They thought they could potentially clean that up under... They probably thought they could clean that up very easily under the Dragon after everyone had... they cleaned that under the Dragon after everyone had... sorry, Sona is incredibly laughing. It's so distracting.
Sorry. Just accidentally hearing some of the technical guys shouting in our ears.
I could hear it as well. I could hear it as well.
Anyway, 6-4 is the lead for Rift, but they're behind in gold, and Choke still in a good position, I think we'd both say here. Abyssal Scepter finished on Alchemist. He's 0-0-1. He's got some nice CS. CS for Chewed Up as well, is well ahead of Nizar.
Oh, here comes
Dandy. He's going to bring a surprise onto Zodiac. He popped that drain, but it's not going to be enough. He's gone into 3. He didn't realize there were 3 members there. Imbolite getting a couple of pings out, but he's not going to be able to join that fight. And here's Chewed Up. Looks like Nizar's going to try and join the fray as well. Keys doesn't have the teleport. Alchemist gets stunned up, but there is the black shield, and he's going to pop the Rupture. Imbolite gets caught. He gets beaten. He gets destroyed. And Nizar trying to do what he can, but he doesn't have the damage to melt through this tanky Cho'Gath. And there comes the Eclipse. The Solar Flame is gorgeous on 3, and Alchemist might actually go down. He will. What a turnaround from Rift, Rapper, and Nizar showing their stuff. And they're claiming this Rift for their own.
Yeah, I mean, fantastic play from Raph there. The immediate thought was, oh my word, he's just Zenith Blade back into the fray. But that beautiful solar flare in combination with the rat-a-tat-tat from Nizar meant they cleaned up a large proportion of the Choke Gaming lineup. I don't even think Choke were ready for that. Nizar does get caught up here. Not enough damage, I think, to commit to him to take him out. And obviously, Keys and Rapha in the fray too.
Chewed Up does have Super Mega Death Rocket here. If Rapha backs in an area where he's got vision on him, that's pretty dangerous. He's going to back in the side bush, so it won't be a Super Mega Death Rocket here.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be very risky to throw one out. It could just completely whiff. This could be mid lane turret going down very easily for the Rift lineup. Oh, Zodiac.
He's got his dancing shoes on. It's just enough with the black shield as well. Zodiac escapes.
Yeah.
But it's a Rite of the Arcane. Imbolite will be happy to burn that.
Yeah. Happy feet right there for Zodiac. Manages to dodge the majority of the Rite of the Arcane shots. And yeah, I mean, this is an interesting game because Choke played a lot more loosely than you'd expect previously. Like on that Dragon fight, they probably shouldn't have committed that many members without Chewed Up in the fray. Yeah. You're going up against something like a Jinx and a Tina who could both be invisible and then just come out of nowhere and do the, I guess, the surprise ambush that they can provide to the...
That's what I was hoping that Dandy Chap would pick the surprise party Fiddlesticks as well, because then it would be truly a surprise party for Choke as they get caught out. I think the thing was that Numlocked and Maxlord both went into Dragon Pit, and that's a very confined space for them. It meant that it was a lot easier for Xerath to hit his Arcano pulses. It was a lot easier for Nizar as well.
But it's also a lot easier for Maxlord to hit his Bolas, a lot easier for Numlock to hit his ultimate. So it was more that they committed 3 members to a 5-man fight, which unfortunately, obviously, they didn't get the Dragon and it didn't work out very well for them. They're going to have to still maintain a 2k gold lead, though, so they've still got a lot of extra cash in the barrel to inject into this next Dragon fight. That's going to be up in around 2.5 minutes. So 2.5 minutes, we'll see the next Dragon coming on the board, and I imagine they're definitely going to want to contest that. 3rd Dragon going over this early in the game will be quite devastating, really, for Choke, because they're going up against the lineup that doesn't have a lot of mobility innately. And with the improved movement speed, allow Dandychap to position correctly, allow Imbolite to position correctly, and obviously be really good if Nizar decides to do the solo 1v1 Twitch kills that we used to see. I think actually you're seeing a lot of people out of practice playing against Twitch. Last year, people would have been so careful.
Around Worlds.
Around Worlds, people would have been so careful about where they were positioning, if they were split pushing, if they were an AD carry by themselves. They'd have been really careful playing against the Twitch. It kind of means, you know, it's just out of practice at this point in time. Chewed Up got caught in that mid lane, didn't really expect Twitch to be there after having flashed, and then obviously paid the price. And it looks like they're trying to do something similar here with Rafa just sat on the sidelines.
It did look like they were trying to go for that, but with Zodiac there, they decided against it. Didn't have vision on him, but a spidey sense was tingling for the side of Rift. Actually, I mean, Nizar is 3-0-3. He's having a lot better performance on this Twitch than he was in the last game. That double kill in mid lane definitely helped him out. He's already finished his Blade of the Ruin King.
Yep.
He's building towards those Zerka Greaves as well. Do you think he's going to go Infinity Edge next, or do you think we'll see perhaps a Bloodthirst or a Yumi?
We'll have to see, actually. He's picked up a dagger, which I imagine will be going towards his Berserker Greaves. Yeah. Could go towards something like a Phantom Dancer, but then you're lacking some serious
damage there.
Yeah, so I will have to see what he decides to go for. Maybe Infinity Edge will be on the cards and start to build towards some crit with the Phantom Dancer afterwards. But obviously Twitch does well with an increased attack speed anyway. He applies that true damage poison. Obviously wants to get that stacks up as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Right now with the Blade of the Ruin King active, people have to be careful when they are solo pushing like Chewed Up is right now. Just because Twitch can just burst them so easily. That Blade of the Ruin King makes him one of the best duelers in the game if he manages to catch you out of surprise with the ambush. Looks like the next Dragon Fight is on the cards for Choke. They want to gain control of this Dragon Pit area. Maxlaw is going to get caught out by that pink one. I think he used his ultimate. No, he didn't use his ultimate there. He just had that proc of the oracles from the...
That's actually really good for Rift as well, though, because it means that Maxwell won't have that Oracle's lens from the Raptors for when they actually fight around the Dragon now. It means they can get a little bit more vision control. They can try and lock out the Choke lineup, and it looks like that's what they're trying to do now. Dandychap's going to push up towards this river. Needs to be careful because Zodiac is there. Rafa trying to be that frontline tank. He's going to get caught out by the Dark Binding along with those Flame Chompers, and Rafa will go down, but here comes Dandychap. Nomok going low. He's got Mega very soon. Riding the Arcane. Can they take down Nomok before he goes Mega? They can! The flash away, actually. The Super Mega Death is not going to connect. He's still alive. They've taken down already, Nizar, and Maxwell picks up a double. That's a great fight for Choke Gaming. He's just going to get chased away here by Chewed Up. He flashes away from the zap. But the focus on that backline, focus on Alchemist, focus on Number meant that Chewed Up could stay alive and absolutely melt through this Rift lineup.
The key point of that team fight was the Black Shield on Chewed Up. The Solar Flare was completely negated. A massive amount of CC went down the drain in that fight. There was no good positioning to Nizar to get a rapid attack across the team like we saw last time. And in a 5v5, unless Dandychap is getting a complete surprise ultimate, catching out the backline, I just don't see Rift winning team fights. I know they've had a pretty good game so far, but oh wow, they're just going to be very careful here. Zenith Blade comes across the wall, manages to dodge out. But, you know, it was very obvious that Dandychap was moving away to ultimate in. Choke Gaming read that. Choke Gaming backed off. They managed to lock him down. He doesn't yet have that Zhonya's either. So until he gets that Zhonya's, he is so vulnerable in team fights as a Fiddlesticks. You don't understand as a Fiddlesticks that you are so vulnerable unless you're catching out people with that ultimate. If you're going full face 5v5 team fight, trying to channel your ultimate without Zhonya's, that is incredibly difficult to pull off. And you saw right there, the focus went immediately.
Nizar's going to get caught as soon as he goes into this bush. Oh, that was so close. There was a pink ward prepped. And he just dodged out the binding. But I talked about how Nizar's 3-1 and he was in quite good position. He's still 80 CS down on his lane opponent. Yes, you can have kills, but CS is so much more important than kills. I mean, especially like 80, that's double his CS.
I mean, he's bordering 5 CS a minute, which is half of what most pro players aim for. 10 CS a minute is like the gold standard of CS that you want, and it's just because he's been trying to roam across the map like Rafa. Both of them have been trying to put pressure on the map. Haven't had enough time to solo push or solo farm by themselves. And obviously Jinx had that massive period at the start where she was free to farm. Looks like Maxor going in onto Nizar.
He's popped that on the hunt. He's going to jump on the Nizar. Wow. Look at the damage. Talks about whether it be a full damage build from Maxlaw. It definitely is with that Tiamat. He chunks away at the Wrath and Chewed Up picks up the kill with the Super Mega Death Rocket. Nicely done there by Choke. And the engage from Maxlaw and Zodiac is so strong with that black shield into the On the Hunt.
3 sweeping lenses picked up too. I imagine they'll be very quickly upgraded, completely negate the ability to Twitch to reposition in his invisibility in the middle of a team fight. So really nice play by Choke. They're trying to lock down what they think is probably going to be the key threat. Fiddlestick, Bandichap, he's waiting for it.
He is waiting for it. He's going to go into the bot lane, but the black shield on Shoot Up keeps him safe. Once again, the Solar Flare not going to connect there from Rapper, and they will just back away. And this is what we're saying. Like, Choke are good enough that even if they don't have vision on Dandychap, they'll predict the fact that he's going to go for it. And he's going to go down. Look at the damage from Shoot Up. He's going to chase onto Imbolite here. He got excited. Can he get the kill? The Scrying Lens will come down, but not going to be enough. Scrying Orb, sorry. There. And Alchemist actually getting locked down by Rapper, and Nizar in the mid lane. Nizar picks up a kill for himself. The kills are very close, but the CS is not, and still an 80 CS advantage for Shoot Up.
6k gold lead as well because of the towers too. It's actually just 1 tower advantage. It's going to be 2 tower advantages now. So it's a massive gold lead despite you know, what seems like a very close game in terms of stats. So right now, Choke are just playing this incredibly well, and unfortunately, this slightly quirky lineup from Rift is not really doing too much. I mean, Teemo has gone Frozen Mallet, so he's not even going to be that AP threat that a lot of people like to play him as. He's probably going for more of a split push threat in terms of the Teemo with a Frozen Mallet. And you're not seeing a similar build coming out from Numlocked. He went for the Hex Drinker because it is so good against the lineup that he's playing against, and then he skipped going for something like Black Cleaver. Split going for the Frozen Mallet has gone straight into a tank position like we thought he would, because Maxlaw has gone basically full damage. But yeah, I'm struggling to see what this Frozen Mallet Teemo is going to add to the Rift lineup. He's not exactly going to be doing damage, not really going to be a threat in team fights. Most people play AP Teemo to be a threat with the mushrooms across the map. You know, you just try and get the people to get chunked before fights even begin. Dandychap's going to get locked up here, potentially.
Oh, no. Zodiac and Maxwell went the other way. They thought the blue buff was up, but it wasn't quite, and they won't be able to pick out Dandychap. But yeah, I totally agree, Excadrill. I am not in love with the Teemo at all in this game. The Frozen Mallet pick is perhaps a little bit odd, along with those boots of swiftness as well. I would try and tilt the enemy build is what you're playing.
The only time I have ever seen a Teemo obviously played in competitive was High in the LCS.
Yeah.
He played full AP. He basically controlled the entire map with his Teemo shrooms. Chunked TSM because they just didn't have the vision clearance to be able to deal, or the clearance to be able to deal with a consistent amount of shrooms requiring Oracle's buffs.
Yeah.
So it was just controlling the map, chunking TSM, and then fighting when they, you know, if they were in range of these shrooms, they'd then engage once TSM had taken a whole host of damage. But another tower going down. We haven't even talked about how good the siege is with the Jinx. Jinx basically makes the siege composition by herself.
2 crits on Nizar. The Super Mega Death is not going to connect. Dandychap does come in. Maxwell's going to flash across though. He gets onto Imbolite, who might survive. Actually, they do pick up the kill. Nizar gets it. And here he comes. He's going to try and get onto Shoot Up, but it's not going to be enough right if the Arcane pops out. But Shoot Up flashes in for the triple. Oh, baby, a triple. We've never seen this in the history of Doto. He will get taken out by the Solar Flare. The Rupture comes out. The Feral Scream. Keys trying to do what he can against Alchemist here. Has that Frozen Mallet, has the red buff as well for the slow. The Rupture comes out once more, but nice in the middle of a Zenith Blade, Alchemist retreats towards the tower. Didn't realize it was still there. Has he got Feast? He has. Will he be able to nom on the Teemo? No, he won't, and he will be able to get away. Meanwhile, Numlocked in the bot lane will push down this inner inhibitor tower as much as he can.
Yeah, this game has been, again, a little bit of a whitewash for Rift. I mean, once they get into the real meat of that mid-game, once they get to those skirmishes and those small, you know, 5v5, 4v5 team fights, it's just going to be Choke that win every single day. There is no synergy here for the Rift lineup team. They basically have maybe a Teemo Shroom to slow down. People land on a Teemo Shroom, Dandychap ults in, and then you have the Rat-a-tat-tat to try and go across and do as much AoE damage as possible. And Xerath just peppers on the side.
What did Rat-a-tat-tat used to be called? Spray and Pray. That's the one. I think that's a better name.
It was a better name. But, you know, we don't judge Rito for their name changes.
The good old times. Better names. Final Spark changed. Heart of Gold removed.
Oh, rest in peace, Heart of Gold. Haven't heard that name in a while.
Pepperoni. Anyway, Rift trying to do what they can here. They're still behind in gold by 7,000 now.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Nizar goes down. Absolutely destroyed in his own jungle. Meanwhile, Numlocked and Shoot Up will pick up their second dragon of the game here for Choke. And Maxlaw, I asked if he would build aggressive or if he'd build tanky. Well, he's given us his answer. He's 5 and 3 on that Rengar and picked up a Brutalizer as well. doing what he can to propel Choke into the finals tomorrow.
Maxlaw has just been an absolutely dominating presence in both of these games here. You can really see the difference between the two junglers, and even on his old favourite champion. But look at the damage coming down.
The arcane comes down, there's the solar flares where it will slow him. They got through the black shield there. That was great teamwork by Imbolite, and for the first right of the arcane got through the black shield, so the slow landed on Chewed Up, even though he tried to get away, and he gets taken down. And Rift turning this one round. They're turning the cogs, they're turning the screws, and will they be able to turn this in their favor? Will they get the victory at the end?
There's not enough wave clear, I think, here for Cho'Gath to be able to clear by himself. He'll be able to use the Peril screen that they have. Probably going to take this turret down. Numlocked is getting a bit of damage.
Oh, Dandychap flashes in. He's going to try and get the slow. Will he get enough damage? He will. And they're going to try and clean up under this inhibitor tower. Rift going deep, but getting rewards from it.
Wow.
And they will just back away.
What a complete turnaround there from what looked like Choke Gaming.
Oh, Maxlaw. Oh, Maxlaw. Here he comes. Here he goes. Where he'll stop, no one knows. He's going to try and jump onto Rafa. The bowler not going to connect.
I mean, that was a nice build-up, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Slelly.
I tried really hard. I even got the rhymes in there.
You did.
Next level Castorinos here at MCM London.
Well, anyway, Maxlaw has got that Oracle's buff is going to clear up the ward that's sitting in the red side jungle, which Choke, they need to be a little bit more careful about where they pick and choose fights. Chewed Up is the sort of the VIP of their team right now. They need to make sure that he is wrapped in bubble wrap, wrapped in a cardboard box, posted in a bulletproof, frame.
Bulletproof frame.
Oh, well, they looked like they were going for Draxi. The problem was how they just reacted there is they looked like they were about to start Baron. They weren't just clearing wards. Yeah. So the fact that they looked like they were about to start Baron spells alarm bells for the Rift Gaming lineup, and they're going to react to it. If it had just been Maxlaw clearing wards, I don't think the urgency would have been there. Yeah. But you can see, because obviously everyone turned up to Baron, looked like they were about to start it. Then they saw the ward.
Once again, vision control pretty strong here for Choke. They've lit up this topside river like a Christmas tree, but we do see Rift trying to do what they can to deny any vision for Choke. It's pretty close, actually, like surprisingly close considering the gold disadvantage for Rift at the moment. If they can get some picks off, they can do quite well.
It was a lot worse about 4 minutes ago.
Yeah.
They've managed to claw back a significant proportion of gold in just a few minutes of gameplay, all because of that fantastic mid lane team fight. And that is one of my only worries about the Choke Gaming lineup. If Chewed Up gets taken out, Maxlaw is very easy to kill because he has gone full DPS, then where are you really going to be getting the sustained damage to take out every threat from the Rift lineup? Because the way that Rift are playing is they're actually playing a quadruple threat composition in the sense that everyone is a damage threat in themselves. And even now, Keys, who's picked up Hurricane, even Keys has picked up Brunan's Hurricane. It's going to be a little bit of a damage threat.
Who picks up Runan's Hurricane? Okay, I guess I can't say that because who plays top lane Teemo Frozen Mallet Swiftness Boots? There's a fight going on. Dandychap trying to get onto Zodiac. Rafa's here as well. The Black Shield is being popped, but Dandychap will get locked down soon. Mega Death not going to be enough. Here comes the teleport, but there is no teleport for Keys. It's half a second out. Here goes Maxlaw to Dandychap.
Oh my god!
Maxlaw is the target, and Imbolite will burst him away. Imbolite will flash the wall. Numlock will jump it, and will they be able to do the hurdles across this top side jungle for the side of Rift? They won't. And they will get Rafa. Yeah, Chewed Up was always going to get Rafa there. He was out of position, malaligned with the rest of his team, and a Rift going to have to try and stop this Baron. Can they do it? Imbolite does have a right of the arcane, so if he can land a couple of attacks on Chewed Up,
this is risky.
Very risky. Keys is coming in. Has got that flash. Alchemist gets stunned. Numlock going to go into Mega Gnar. Can he get the Gnar off? He can't. Chewed Up going very low. Here comes the damage from Imbolite. Chewed Up will go down. No, yes, he will. The expunge damage coming out from Nizar with that poison. Alchemist does get the Norm onto Imbolite, but there's the rupture. Nizar gets stunned just in front of it. They're going to keep chasing onto Numlock, who might go down here. The flash in by Nizar will pick up the kill. And Alchemist trying to back away, but he's been scrying orbs out in Keys. This is swiftness. This is the swiftness boots right here, Scoundrel. It is a game-changing play by Keys, who will actually
go down.
He BMs and he dies for it. Super Teemo met his kryptonite there, and its name was Cho'Gath.
Yeah, and that whole fight was probably decided by the pink ward placement by Choke Gaming, because there was a ward there that showed that they started Baron. I think anyone in their right mind without that ward would have thought, no, there's no way they're going for Baron right now because the jungle is down, they're all really low, and look how many of us are alive. Well, Choke Gaming did, and they were spied out on a ward, and you're going against a team with, well, the people who were alive was Keys, Nizar, and Imbolite, all of which is basically 3 threats. on the Rift gaming lineup. You've got a massive AoE damage that can come out from Rapid. Yeah, he's trying to pick up a kill. I don't know if... Oh my goodness.
What?
Oh my goodness.
That's a lot of damage from Maxlor. He's going to keep trying to chase here, but he's going to step in the stream. Keezus showing us what he can do. Armin Keezus not going to be enough damage there. Maxlor will get the kill onto Rafa. Dandychap tried to get in there with
nice binding.
His ultimate, but a good binding will land onto him and chase him away. So that's the ultimate down for Dandy. Rafa down as well. Didn't even pop his own solar flare there to try and keep himself safe. We do have a little bit of a pause coming out.
Yeah, so, I mean, that was a mistake by Choke Gaming to go for that Baron. They had no jungler. They really were quite low in terms of all of their health was basically below 50%.
And the fact that Chudup tanked a couple of
times. Yeah, Chudup tanked a lot. And you saw as they disengaged the Baron, Chudup was taking the majority of the damage afterwards. So as they disengaged, he was very low, got easily taken out by both Nizar and Right of the Arcane. And you're going up against a Xerath who's still alive and Twitch who still has Ratatat up. And you take AoE damage as you're in the Baron area. I mean, you're just basically asking to be burst down by a composition that thrives on getting AoE damage down.
It's still, across the board, as a CS disadvantage for Rift here. I feel perhaps if they put Nizar into a lane by himself for a little bit to try and CS up, he might be able to get back into this one a little bit stronger. But the problem for them there is Maxlor. The cat from the jungle is just going to pounce on him as every opportunity he gets. And he's got a Yumu's Last Whisper Tiamat now. He's going to absolutely destroy Nizar. This is the kind of situation where in solo queue you'd think about building a Zhonya's as an AD carry, just so you can survive.
The one problem with the way that Maxlor is playing is that once he has burst someone, he can't burst anyone else. And he's making the decision about who to burst. Because you go against someone like a Twitch who's probably going to be having the peel, he can probably escape with his invisibility, and unless Maxlor can one-shot Twitch, there's a lot of other targets for him to have to deal with. And once he's already dove into the back line with his ultimate, he's very vulnerable, very easy to take down, very difficult for him to escape because of the way he's built.
The thing about that is, I totally agree with you, and it's difficult for him to get another target or escape afterwards, but does he need to? If you take down the Twitch, do you then need to kill the Xerath, or can you rely on Chudup, who's 8 and 5, to take out the Xerath? Can you rely on Alchemist to get a Feral Scream off and stop the enemy team from being able to get onto you? Like, Maxlor, I feel, is definitely doing his job if he can take out Twitch or Xerath.
I agree, but then you've got to make the decision between
Twitch or Xerath.
Twitch or Xerath, and then
or even, God forbid, Teemo.
And also, is he going to use it when Dandychap uses his ultimate?
Yeah.
You know, will he jump onto Dandychap? I mean, less likely now that he's got the Zhonyas, but there's a lot of threats from the Rift lineup.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
And Maxlor has to make the decision about which one to choose to take out. And Teemo going again for what looks like to be a phage into, I guess, Black Cleaver. Oh, this is an interesting build. He's going to go Black Cleaver, Ruined Hurricane, apply armor debuff to the entire team.
Along
and then
with
combine
Nizar.
It with Ratatat.
Oh, wow.
If they can get this to work, and it works well, that's some really solid.
The problem is, it's solid if you can get those Ruined Hurricane shots off on a bunch of people, but it's very difficult to do in these team fights. Numlock trying to chase onto Imberlight here. There's the solar flare going to lock him up, but it's only Numlock. Rapper will jump in. He'll get flame combos. He'll get destroyed by Chudup and the rest of the gang. And Choke Gaming push themselves back towards this Baron.
Ruptures and keeping a couple of members near this mid lane. They really look like they are defending it though. This is, in my opinion, would be moderately obvious, but no. It's just Numlock and Chudup doing their best. And now Maxlor and the team are going to jump into this Baron, and a nice play, nice mind game by Choke, and unfortunately Rift didn't key on.
I feel like perhaps Rift did key on and they just decided to give it up, because the way they positioned, they were not even pressing up towards where it looked like Choke Gaming were.
Yeah, I mean, they're now going to look. They didn't know, and now it's gone. They're probably going to be a bit disappointed, but they have the lineup that can deal with people trying to sneak Baron like this. It's very easy for them with Nizar, Imberlight, Dandychap. All of those guys thrive in closed situations like the Baron Pit, like the Dragon Pit. And speaking of Dragon, that is going to be up in roughly 2.5 minutes, maybe 3 minutes, and that'll be back on the board for the Choke Gaming lineup.
If that fourth Dragon goes across towards Choke, that is a huge advantage for them. Jinx, already a great tower pusher, along with that damage and minions and monsters you get off the fourth Dragon, it's just going to melt through these objectives. One
of the only times I ever think that the second Dragon buff is worth really gunning for is when you have a Jinx in your team, because it just means 15% quicker Jinx is going to wind up that Pow Pow, and she's going to be crushing towers, because she's one of the, probably the best tower pusher in the game. Just single-handedly, hands down, the best tower pusher in the game. I mean, when Rengar could use his Q on towers, that was ridiculous. And obviously Nasus, when he gets the ridiculous stack, is also good. But if you're just talking about a normal situation where no one's getting incredibly fed, Jinx is probably one of the best tower pushers in the game.
I would totally agree with that. It looks like it's a 1-3-1 split here for Choke. Maxlaw off by himself in this top lane. They know that Keys can't deal with him. Rafa's trying to get in there with the Righteous Glory, but the flash away by Maxlaw into the On the Hunt will keep him safe. And he might actually try and re-engage here onto Rafa. He's chasing him down there. They can see the bound up minions though. Maxlaw's decides to go for the tower. There's the Rite of the Cane used in the mid lane. Let's look at this fight. Shoot up goes low. Nizar trying to do what he can. Alchemist down to half HP as well. And Zodiac will get pushed back as well. Nomlok's going to fade, but Maxlaw, here comes Teemo. He's blinded him. Oh, Maxlaw still gets the tower down. Thought for a second there that Keys had saved the inner inhibitor tower. Alchemist gets taken a little bit low, but here's the super good death. Look at Nizar actually tanking that one up for Imbolite. The tower goes down. Shoot will get excited. Back to full HP already because he's got that Bloodthirster. And Keys and Rafa trying to do what they can, but Shoot Up's going to chase here. Here comes Nomlock as well. He flashes in. He guards him into the wall. King Shoot Up get excited. He can. He will chase. Oh! The toss across the wall will pick him up, and Dandy Chap tries to fear Nomlocked away. It looks like Choke Gaming are going to take the middle inhibitor now after a great team fight from them. Maxwell giving his life for the team. His life for our, and Shoot Up is going to bring this top lane of minions in as well. They should be able to take the top lane inhibitor.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what they're going to rotate for. This is all but securing the game here for Choke, and they're going to go true to the predictions potentially of 2-0. There is ways for Rift to get back into this, but it's going to be so difficult now, because once you have those super minions pushing in, it's less and less likely that you're going to get to a position where Fiddlesticks is going to be able to get a good ultimate off. Fiddlesticks thrives on ultimating across terrain, ultimating across areas of lack of vision, and right now, with super minions pushing into the base from 2 lanes, it's going to be, no one's going to be in the mid, or very unlikely that you're going to see Choke Gaming in the mid and top lane now. So they're not going to be in a position where Dandy Chap can get great ultimates off, and it's all going to be around that bot lane. And if they're pushing that bot lane in hard, the only place that Dandy Chap can ultimate across the wall is across his Nexus turret area. So it's going to be, or across his base wall area. So if they get that warded up, which is very easy to do, then it's going to be difficult for Dandy Chap to have an impactful ultimate.
He had a couple in the early game. He had a couple of really good ultimates that won them team fights, but just not quite having the impact he would like on that Fiddlesticks. And it's what we talked about in picks and bans. It's the map awareness coming out from Choke, the awareness of when team fights might start, the awareness of how things are going to go down. And Choke looks like they're just going to go into the bottom lane and push up for this inhibitor. Shoot Up is so big, 10 and 5 already on that Jinx. He's got the Quicksilver Sash as well to get himself out of that solar flare if the Black Shield hasn't already connected. Righteous Glory was popped by Rafa, but they're not going to get the engage off. Good wave play here by Rift, but we've talked about this in the last game. They just have to wait for super minions.
Yeah, and then this is just, I mean, look at Number. He can just tank that turret. Here comes the solar flare.
Only going to land on Shoot Up, and the Super Mega Death Grip will come out. Shoot Up trying to get the kill. Keys will pop down that blinding dart onto Shoot Up, which will slow the push on this tower ever so slightly, but the solar flare not enough. Still a quick Silver Sash available for Shoot Up, even if he gets engaged upon now. So not the best of times for Rift here. You might even say it's the worst of times for them. Rafa once again coming in. He's going to go onto Alchemist, get some damage down. Zodiac goes low as well. Nizar is here, but Maxlaw jumps onto Nizar. Maxlaw's going to get taken out under the tower, and Dandy Chap with a good zoning ultimate. The Right of the Arcane picks up one. Isn't quite going to get the damage. Numlock's going to escape on about 100 HP as well, but the rest of Rift need to back away and protect their inhibitor towers, Nexus towers. Yeah,
I mean, that was over-committing by the Choke Gaming runners. They really wanted to push that tower out. There was a good pink ward battle there on the top side of that team fight. You may not have seen it. Dandy Chap really vying for vision control of that base wall area. That's the only area that he could effectively escape from. Rafa now going to be attacking. He's going to turn here.
Needs to be careful because there's so much damage coming from him, like the Black Shield. Is it going to be enough? Shoot Up will survive. Shoot Up will do everything he can, and Nizar got caught in a blind binding on him there from Zodiac, and Shoot Up picks up the kill along with Zodiac getting a second. Great fight there from Choke.
And this is going to be 4th Dragon going over to Choke too. A little bit delayed. They are going to probably finish the game, I guess, before. Oh, here comes Super Mega Death
Rockets!
Oh, so very close. The only thing that's going...
Yeah, it would have killed him.
Maybe. I think it would have been very close. The only thing that's going in favour now of Rift is that Nizar has got nearly his Infinity Edge. He's sitting on a load of really key items. Once he picks up that Infinity Edge, he definitely has the potential to carry just as hard as Jinx. Baron up in 59 seconds. Choke looking like they want to take that off the map. That's almost going to secure the victory. they need to be less greedy about that bot lane turret. They took a lot of tower damage there. They were really just pushing for that very hard. They took a lot of poke because they were trying to ignore it, thinking that they were too tanky, that it didn't really matter. And obviously you saw when an AoE teamfight is pulled off by Rift Gaming, they can definitely win them out, despite being 10k gold behind.
I think one of the big things as well was Maxlor jumped onto Nizar and didn't one-shot him.
No.
Nizar was able to flash away, Maxlor went down. There was a great zoning ultimate from Dandy.
It was a really risky dive by Maxlor, though, because he put himself right in the back line of the team and also had the tower to deal with, too. So, I mean, Maxlor has to do it on the outskirts of the fight when there's not a tower to deal with, when someone's out of position. When you try and do it on the back line by yourself, when the rest of the team is completely grouped together, far more difficult to pull off.
He's got double Zhonya's to deal with now as well. There's one on Dandychap, and he'll be engaging with that, and then Imbolite has his own Zhonya's as well. So Maxlor really left only to get these or Nizar down with this ultimate. So I expect 9 times out of 10 he's going to be trying to get onto Nizar. So his Mega Death Lock is going to be tanked up there by Rafa, actually flashed away by Imbolite.
Here comes Dandychap.
Here comes Dandychap. He's not going to get anything out of this. He flashes in, but he's all by himself, and there's a pause in the middle of it all.
Oh. Something has happened here, because usually you don't pause.
The etiquette is you don't pause in the middle of a fight. But it's a pause straight away here coming out from Nizar.
I think someone has disconnected. Obviously, quite important in a team fight. Obviously, less important as you're just milling around, farming. But in the middle of a team fight, you would like your support, who is probably one of the main forms of your
Solar
CC,
Flare
to be
here.
there.
You look at that Solar Flare on Maxlor, on Alchemist, and Numlocked is well positioned. If you can get that, Dandychap's already got the ultimate off. Yeah,
Chewed Up is in a really solid position, though. You can see him at the back line there, almost untouched, likely to be untouched the further we go into this team fight. Dandychap has already used his dive. He's used both Flash and his ultimate. He has his Zhonya's available, will likely be procced as soon as this pause goes down, to be honest.
Yeah. Let's have a look at this. We're just about to get straight back into the fight, and here comes the action. Rafa's reconnected. There's the Zhonya's out of Dandychap. Maxlor's the target. Oh, great play there by Rafa, because then it's played onto Maxlor, and the Solar Flare comes out as well. Maxlor will get taken out by Rafa by himself. He's still
here comes Chewed Up.
He is so excited, and so am I, because Chewed Up is melting away here at the
But Nizar!
No, the Rupture's enough. Imbolite versus Alchemist, the Beast, and Choke Gaming will chew down here on the Rift lineup.
And this should be Alchemist to finish out the game here. He is very low. He needs to be careful, but look at the Cho'Gath passive coming into use there. Just kill off some minions. He's actually going to back off. He's got to kill the inhibitors. The inhibitors are saving the game for Rift right here. I don't know if they will be the complete savior, but they're definitely providing a bit of extra time. You cheeky inhibitor, you.
Cheeky inhibitor. 12 seconds on Dandychap. Alchemist going to try and push down this Nexus tower. I feel GG well plays have already come out from Rift, so I wouldn't be surprised if Dandychap just lets Alchemist take the Nexus here. Well, sometimes that does happen. He's actually going to come out and try and push him away. I totally understand this. He wants to win the game, so Alchemist is going to get pushed out here. He might be able to take down the Nexus. Rupture comes down, but there's the Banshees on Dandy. There's the Feral Scream. Rafa comes in with a Zenith Blade. They're going to stun up this Cho'Gath, who is gaining a lot of life, but the Keys damage is so strong.
Got an X in his name, but not quite X-Peke, as he tried to pull off the backdoor base kill there, trying to basically kite out Dandychap, but the Zhonya's Hourglass managed, the Banshees managed to do wonders for that Rupture, but all inhibitors are down now, so there's 2 super minions per wave now coming through to the Rift Gaming base.
And Baron's up as well.
And Baron's up, so even if they try to contest Baron, they're probably going to suffer the wrath of super minions and end up losing their Nexus, so this should be a free Baron for Choke. And once they have their full lineup, all they need to do is push onto that inhibitor turret, push onto that Nexus and keep Chewed Up alive, and they should very easily be able to finish out the game. This is all but sewn up here for the Choke Gaming lineup.
It should definitely be there. 10,000 gold, still the lead. 11 towers, all of the turrets down here for Rift. They've only got 4 picked up for themselves, and they are miles behind in this game.
Yeah, I mean, 10k gold behind. They've got they've got to deal with double super minion waves. I wouldn't be surprised to see a 1-3-1 come out to just force all of the waves in at once. That's probably the best way to deal with this, to make sure you guarantee victory. Push all of your waves at once, and as your super minions are basically crashing into the base, you ride that crescendo, you run in with the super minions, you overwhelm the enemy.